Hello bike farmers! So I think this is my first video with a personal bike. Yeah, this is my road bike. I hand built this frame myself. It was the third frame I built. The first one turned out, I wouldn't let anybody else ride it, let's just say that. But just kind of to teach myself, that one was fillet brazed and just had some spare tubes, and went online and bought the rest of the parts and kind of figured it out, and it's rideable. The second one was a project that I never finished. It's laying around here somewhere. It was a little mix match of, I bought some tubes and then I had an idea to build like a really classic kind of French thing with Hellenic stays, and it really was just kind of a fun winter project a few years ago. But this one, I went out and I bought the lightest, skinniest tube set I could find, which is I got from Rene Hersey, or Rene Hersey. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But it's Kaisei tubing. It's Japanese, very, very thin tubes and ultralight, and decided to build myself an ultralight road bike. And it's very fun and very gratifying to ride a bicycle that I built myself, a hand-built bike. However, I got the geometry right. It fits very well. It tracks great, it rides great, handles great. I love it. But because it's such ultralight tubing, it's pretty whippy. It's got a lot of flex to it, and the front end is just kind of wobbly. So it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I rode it up to the top of Mount Evans. I've done multiple brevets on it. That's a randoneering term, but I've done a 300K on it. It's got 3 water bottle cages, which you can't see in this frame, but I built it that way just for, I didn't know that COVID was coming, but it sure was handy during COVID when you didn't want to stop at convenience stores. I could just carry water and have enough water for, 60 miles or more. I do a lot of distance road biking when I have a chance. So anyway, but I'm not going to quite retire this bike. I kind of am going to try to have it around for a while. But I'm having a new road bike built up, and I'm going to do a whole video or 2 or 3 on that one. And I'm going to use some parts from this one. Mainly the wheels are going to be reused. And I have another set of wheels that are very similar, so I'm going to swap the wheels out. But I think since I'm going to do that, I'm going to put on a different group set altogether. So the cranks are coming off, I think I'm just going to use the handlebars that I have everything on, but we're just going to swap a lot of parts over and make this into a road bike. Yeah, I have a very nice AXS Force 12-speed wireless group set that I thought about selling, but I think I'm going to put it on this bike for a while and see how much I ride it once the new one gets done in a few weeks. So let's get started. Oh yeah, yesterday I went on a pretty long, 80-mile bike ride, and it rained half the time, so it's filthy. And I was like, well, it's filthy. I'm like, I gotta do this project anyway, and so here we go. Like I said, there's 3 water bottle cages. Believe it or not, that's one of the main reasons I decided to build my own road bike, is because good luck finding an ultralight bike with 3 bottle cages on it these days. Ultralight road bike. I originally built the frame for 28 millimeter tires, but I was able to cram these 32s on here, and there's very little clearance, especially with the front brake. You can actually hear it. Yesterday I rode over some cut grass in the rain, and it just got all gunked up in there. I was rubbing the whole time. It was super annoying. I don't have any 28 millimeter tires, so but I do have some Continental 32s that I think are going to be a little bit skinnier than these Rene Hersey tires, which these Rene Hersey ultralight, extra lights, or whatever they call them, if you don't know, are the best tires ever. They just roll so fast and are so comfy. Velocity Pro build hubs and quill rims with Sapim CX Ray spokes. I just order them straight from Velocity. I love them. And I have a pair of black ones that I'm going to put on the bike because I'm actually, for the new bike build, I'm going to take these since we have shiny hubs, and I've ordered some polished rims. So I'm going to do a rim drop, they call it, where we just kind of tape the new rim to the old one and transfer all the spokes over and true the wheel up. So I'm going to be rebuilding these with new rims here pretty soon. New nipples and new rims. So that's part of the thing, is I think those might be coming this week and want to get going on that wheel build. So I have a SRAM 11-speed red eTap. It's a little bit older. I'm using a road link back here to extend the derailleur hanger a little bit to get to 34 teeth. And if that's not enough for you, I'm going a subcompact crank up here, which is why it's a White Industries crank. It's very hard to find low enough gearing. Here in western Wisconsin, believe it or not, we have is some of the best road cycling on the planet. I'll stand by that till the day I die. But it's very steep hills. We get a lot of 15, sometimes even 18% grades. So you do need real low gearing out here. And it comes in handy randoneering anywhere. You know, if you're on mile 200 and come up to a steep hill, it's pretty nice to have a really low bailout gear. So real wide gearing, and to do that, you kind of have to get some fancier cranks to have your options. There's ways to get around that, but it's just, you know, not really the right way. I like to do things the right way on these bikes. So anyway, the new AXS group set is 12-speed. And none of this is compatible, so I have cranks and everything. It's just I only get a 1-to-1. It's a 33 small ring and 33 big ring on the AXS, which is good enough for shorter rides in the hills. I don't like to do too long of a ride with that high a gearing because I get tired. I'm not that strong of a rider. I can go for a long time, but I'm not really that tough. So, other than that, we'll see what ends up happening with seat post and that kind of thing. I think I need the silver seat post for the new bike. I think I've got a black one laying around. Might as well swap the brakes over if they'll work. I don't know if the brakes will work. The brakes will probably stay on. So let's get started. I think I'm just gonna pop these wheels off and set them aside for now. Oh yeah, and since I have these really plump tires, we gotta let the air out of them to get them out. Yeah, the new bike, I'm going to use this cassette, this wide range cassette, and I've ordered some new cranks from Rene Arce. Extra, super fancy, lightweight Rene Arce cranks because they're beautiful. That's going to be a fun video. Heard from my builder last night that he expects the bike to be ready for paint this week. So that's good. I'm gonna take my bag off the front here. Set that aside. It's got snacks. It's actually really heavy. I got a lot of crap in there. A lot of just in caseness. I can leave the light on, leave the brakes on. Okay. We shall break the chain. So find my link. I might as well start warming up that parts washer and just throw all this stuff in the parts washer too. Where's my link? I can't find it. What the heck? There it is. Yeah, we'll clean this chain. Uh-oh. It's a good way to lose a quick link. Okay, I'm gonna leave the road link on the derailleur. No, yeah. Have the road link stay with this derailleur. I guess. Not sure why I'm doing that, to be honest with you. Alright. I think that looks like a 5mm over here. It's a lot easier to polish a frame when you get all the parts off of it. So we'll pull everything off and then clean up the frame. And I can show you a couple of the features, my fine craftsmanship. It's really not that fine, but you know, it's kind of neat. Yeah, 1.5mm set screw here. So we'll do that. Big Daddy, I think it's a 10mm. We can do the other side too while we have leverage. Self-extracting crank bolts are great. Yeah, I was going to reuse these cranks on the new build, but you can't get silver rings from White Industries. In the new build, I want everything to be super shiny, polished silver, but you can't get these rings in silver. They said maybe after New Year's, but you know, I'm going with a really classic look aesthetically on the new bike, and this is pretty modern stuff. So this is actually a race face wrench. Alright, I got that tool on there, and then just knock it free. We'll do the same for the other side. It's really hard to get the tool on there, but once you do, it gets real good purchase. I still kind of hold it with one hand and then right up against the frame, so I'm trying to be real careful with it. There we go. And then this is satisfying. Isn't that a beautiful bottom bracket? It's all very silver. Very shiny. Very nice. Okay, up here in cockpit land, I think we're just gonna take the bars. So I had a different bike built up with all of the AXS stuff. Actually, it was this bike at one point before I switched everything over. Okay, this wrench feels like it's got good purchase. Come on, break free. Man, probably over torqued a little bit. These are carbon bars too, showing my hackiness. These are very fancy carbon bars that I only use because they're fancy. I don't really even like them that much. Anyway, I do really like these new bars. These Ritchie, I don't even know which ones, but they have these flats on them and they're kind of got this rando shape going. Really like that. So I'll just get these new ones on, new ones here on, news ones. I don't think it's uncommon for bike mechanics like myself. And I say that because I'm a mechanic first, I'm a rider second. I don't think, oh man, I really do love these bars. I forgot all about these bars. Yeah, these are pretty great. I don't think it's uncommon for us to be constantly switching our bikes around. I definitely have said in the past, and it's changed over the years, but I've been known to say that I like fixing them more than riding them. But I'd say it's about equal when it boils down to it. I really do like what I do. I'm lucky. But I like building them, you know. I like this creative part and saying, oh yeah, I forgot about these bars. These are great. I don't have a ton of experience with these bars, so it'll be fun to get to know them a little bit better with this latest build. One thing I'll do here, which can be kind of tricky off the bike, but maybe not, is pull the old brake cables out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut new housing for them, but we know they fit. There shouldn't be a whole lot of difference between the two, so I'm just gonna kind of wind them up like this and save them for when it comes time to putting that back together. Set them aside. Front wheel, again, it's Velocity Race or Velocity Pro, I don't know, whatever the fanciest Velocity rims are, or build. You know, Velocity will build wheels for you. You can just buy them pre-built, which I like. I know how to build wheels. I think I'm an adequate wheel builder. I do have to think about it every time I do it. It's not like it's a second nature thing like bike tune-ups are. I know how to measure for tension, but generally speaking, I think it's best to have wheels built by a wheel builder. And the Velocity wheel department has been doing it. You know, it's kind of like Waterford, you know, where they like, I don't know if they were really the first, but they've been doing it so long that you can really trust them. That's what these people do. They're not just, you know, some bike mechanic that's got a chip on his shoulder and it's like hand-built wheels, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, they're just good at it. So you can really trust them. So, and I bought this wheel a few years back, ridden it quite a bit. Not a total ton, but still pretty true. These aren't the easiest wheels to true. You know, they use a spoke prep kind of Loctite. So, you know, theoretically, you don't really have to true it. But it's nice and light, very strong. These are quill rims. I debadged them. I like things to be clean and debadged. I don't know, nothing against Velocity, but I don't like stickers all over my wheels. Those wheels are great. Very, very great. Excellent, in fact. Okay, so I've got some Continental, what is it? These are the Grand Prix 5000s, and I have the Pirelli Z0, I don't know, smart tubes, these kind of plasticky tubes, kind of like a Tubolito deal, and part of me loves them. I love how they ride, I love how they feel, I like how light they are, but they get flats. I mean, they lose air. I haven't had good luck with them. And it's not that I'm running things over. It seems like they're failing. And I thought maybe it was a Tubolito thing at first. So I got the Pirellis, but then the Pirellis did it too. And I don't know if it's me or these things. They're so expensive. And I mean, I was just extolling the virtues of Tubolito when I first discovered them. So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith that, you know, I took these off the bike and they were working great. They were working just fine. The bike I took them off of. So, but I just feel like every time I touch them, I'm going to poke a hole in them or something. So we'll see what ends up happening. You know, here I'm kind of getting them folded. I'm getting it tucked in. See how, you know, it's like it's really kind of hard to tuck them in. They're not the easiest things to work with. Actually, I'm going to try to, let's go right up to the valve. Then we can kind of do that, push them up in there for this last part. So I'm going to try to get the bead into the center of the rim all the way around. These tires are fitting pretty tight on these rims. That'll give us a little more room up here for the final push. Yeah, that really helped. Yeah, if you're ever struggling up here to fold things over and seat things, start down below and work your way up. You know, and just get everything smushed in, and then that'll make your life a lot easier. Let's see what happens if I squirt some air in here. Okay, I'm underinflating just to make sure. Do a quick inspection. You know, with the nicer stuff like this, and you saw how tight it fit, the chances of us blowing off the rims are pretty small. Just as I say that, I'm gonna blow one off the rims. So put a lot of air in here. It's starting, yeah, it's seating itself. These are great tires too. But I really like the Rene Arce ones, and they're super geeky and fun that way. But these Continental Grand Prix are wonderful tires as well. Very low rolling resistance, very light. I said I'd show you a little bit about my bike frame. Let me get it shined up for you, and then we'll take you for a tour, and I'll show you all the cool stuff and all the yucky stuff, maybe some interesting things. let's go for a tour. So here's the frame. There's lugged, silver brazed lug. So those are Longshan lugs. I spent a little bit of time polishing them. There's a fork crown, pretty nice looking. I had help from Paul Reardon at Blue Steel Bikes in La Crosse, Wisconsin, helped me build the fork. I had to do some things to actually get these fork ends to work. Nice kind of root beer brown paint. I call my bikes Drumlins. That's my brand. This is the very first and only Drumlin in the wild. Went with a fastback seat stay. It's brass brazed. Caliper brakes, and then dropouts are these sleeves. Make it easier because I'm not good at cutting miters. Nothing for cables. This is just going to be a wireless eTap bike from day one. There's the D for the Drumlin. That's about it. I guess there's not a whole lot more to show you, but that's my hand-built road bike. Very classic, very clean, sleek, fun to ride. All right, zooming back into bottom bracket mode. Here's my Force axis crankset, 4633, which gets me pretty low. And then the GXP bottom bracket. So things are good and greased, good enough for me at least. What's it hitting? There we go. See if I can catch a thread. There we go. Never cross thread them. Just take your time, folks. You're not in a hurry for this. All right. Then this wrench ought to do it. Just give it a good snug. A snoog. Great snoogly googly. Ooh. There we go. Take the cranks apart. Such a cinch. I've had this group set on multiple bikes in multiple different ways. It works so well. It really does. I can't say enough good things about this, the AXS eTap stuff. And I can't even imagine the new transmission. Can't remember what it's called. I'm sure it's just wonderful. Very good stuff. But it's all modern, and I'm really into the classic stuff, you know? It's just not my style, so. There you go. Okay, we're gonna get the cassette put on here. There we go. Good and tight. So yeah, these tires are a little thinner, a little narrower, I should say, not thinner. So they fit in here really well, actually. This is a good tire for this bike. Happy to learn that. Okay. Don't need a road link because this derailleur is literally designed to work with this cassette. Okay, here's going to be our first compatibility problem. We're going to need to get the clamp off the old derailleur. All right, so the derailleur clamp is for 31.8, and this is a whatever 26 something bike, 28.6. So here's the old one. We'll just grab this clamp. Drop it on the floor. Uh-oh. That's not going to work. Is it? It's not just exactly right. I mean, we're either going to have to order a shim or live with it, or a new clamp. We'll see if that works. I don't know. It's not the perfect interface here. I don't know if you can see, but this is kind of flat, and the clamp is round. But I think just for this exercise, we're going to go with it because I think it's going to be good enough, and then I'll just have to shop around for the solution. I'm going to have to use that other clamp with a shim or find an AXS clamp that fits this bike. The new bike is going to be friction bar end. Yeah, you heard that right. You know, it used to be a clamp is a clamp. Now everything's proprietary and they're all, you know, it's SRAM versus Shimano and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. Okay, I have to hook brakes up because I've got to be able to set that brake up so the wheel will spin. So we're going to do that next. I'm going to use the brake cables that I pulled off from the other ones. These levers should be very similar or similar enough. I dropped one on the floor already. Okay, so I can go in through there and fish around. Could be here all day. Oh, there it is. It's like a little prayer I said. I'll be here all day. It's like same thing as saying, Lord, please help me. That one went right through, see? Bike mechanics are easy with God on your side. Nice. All right, I got all kinds of housing pieces on the floor. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to cut new housing, but to size it, we're going to kind of fake it till we make it. So I want a piece that is 2 inches longer than this. Okay, I've cut my piece of housing here. Open up the ends. Looks like there's a burr on this side. Gonna trim that. Looks clean. Oh yeah. Now we're good. Now the wheel can spin. Just gonna tighten it a little bit. To be frank, I really do think this is great. I think the wireless electronic shifting is really wonderful. It just doesn't have that classic feel that I really truly love. Doesn't quite match my ethos. It's a thing I've got every season. I think, you know, I'm kind of always thinking about the next bike. You know, building it in my brain. What's it going to look like? What's the purpose? And endurance road is generally the purpose. This wasn't necessarily endurance road. It was more fast road with the possibility of endurance. And I've survived 300K on it. It's definitely more of a 200K bike for me. You know, 300K, I had to use battery lights and that sort of thing. It's not ideal. I've got a really cool rim dynamo for the new bike that I'm using instead of a hub dynamo. Just because it's so infrequent that I actually need a light. Couple rides a year, you know, that I'm going into the night with a brevet randoneering event. 300K, 400K, that sort of deal. I didn't get a lot of randoneering in this year. I wanted to do more videos because my randoneering video did really well last year, but I haven't found a mechanic to work at the shop, so I've been so busy. I mean, it's good to be busy. I mean, it means I make money, right? That's important to me. Okay. I like to put one wrap of electrical tape to hold the brake cable in place before wrapping the bars. Feels like I made that housing just a little short, but it'll do. And then I suppose I've got my bar wrap half done. Might as well finish it up. Man, too bad it's such a rainy day. I could go for a wonderful bike ride. I'm gonna have the flat side up. Very cool looking. This stuff shifts like magic. That's crazy. Crazy good. But I don't geek out on it, you know? I geek out on the older classic stuff. So, it is what it is. Oh, I have to shorten this. It's been a minute since I've had this on this chain on this bike. How much we gotta take off. So, I'm gonna put it in the very smallest, the littlest. We're gonna have to make some adjustments. And okay. Gonna have to go take out 2 of them. God, I hate breaking this expensive chain. But what are you gonna do? Such is life. Make some earrings. Happy birthday, wife. I've got you some 12-speed AXS earrings. Aren't you happy about that? Till death do us part. There. Put some pedals back on this bike because it makes it a whole lot easier to do drivetrain stuff when you can get that chain going with some pedals. Got something to grab onto. Kind of amazing that I found 2 boxes of new old stock XT SPD pedals. I like SPD pedals because it's a lot easier to walk around in mountain bike shoes than road bike shoes. Still haven't quite figured out why people use those weird road bike shoes. I guess I've never tried them. Just never has made sense. Never made enough sense to me to even give it a shot. Anyway, the Sram AXS drivetrain. This drivetrain right here. Now, all the electronic shifting, it's smarter than we are. And it's smarter that when you have it in the little ring here, it will not allow you to shift into the high gear. It just won't. Because it doesn't want you to cross chain, so it prevents you. So if you want to get it into the little gear in the back, you have to shift up to your big ring, which it's not going to shift up to the big ring because we have to adjust it, but it thinks it's in the big ring, and then you can shift down into the lowest cog. And it was a little slow to get there, so we'll trim it out a little bit, but that's going to be pretty close. So then we can make the necessary adjustments here, and I have to figure out which screw is which. God, that's a loud hub. It's so obnoxious. Well, I suppose that's good enough for now. Oh, it's pretty slow shifting up, isn't it? Low limit, just as one would expect. All right, I'm gonna make one little angle adjustment here. Hopefully this will be perfect. Oh, that was quite a bit. Oh, but it liked it. It really liked it. There, I'm calling it good. Just a couple drops of tri-flow on each link. Wipe off the extra. Nice clean chain. There we go. So, like I mentioned, I'm going to use this shiny silver seat post for the new bike. So we'll swap that out. It's the tiniest little bike bag, you know? Tube, levers, CO2. Boom. Get you home. Hopefully. Oh, I always throw some patches too. Throw a couple patches in case you have like a persistent, you know, drive you crazy type of situation. I built this bike and there's all sorts of terribleness with the seat tube. So I forgot that these saddles are really crammed in here. Seat posts are really crammed in there. Get a workout. Oh man, I gotta take this bike down. Yeah, you really didn't need to see that barbaric idiocy. We're just gonna skip showing you the real bad stuff. Again, this is not the kind of frame I would ever sell anyone. If I were a frame builder and it ended up this way somehow, I wouldn't sell it. I'd fix it somehow. I have no idea where I went wrong, unless quite possibly the tubing wasn't meant for the seat post size, but I'm pretty sure I'd like double and triple check that. So when I put the bike in the stand, I use my shelves in the background to get things level. I know that this is comfortable. It's a comfortable angle for me. And then I'm got a good guess on seat size. I'm not a huge believer in mathematical bike fitting. I think there's a lot of getting close enough in the bike fit world. I think with the time trial bike, in a certain setting, you can make some performance improvements with a bike fit. But I think as long as you got a comfortable saddle at a good angle for you, and things aren't going numb, you're doing pretty well. This is the new iteration of Drumlin #1, as I call it. And I'm really looking forward to the weather changing. It's a very rainy day today, so hopefully I can find an hour or two tomorrow to get out on this thing and give it a shakeout ride. This is a fun one, personal bike. I'm gonna make a new playlist, personal bikes, and give you guys a tour of some of my projects that I have going, and the ones that I ride, the ones I love. Yeah, that'll be kind of fun. So this is the first of that as well. If you like this and want more content like it, you know what to do. You hit the little subscribe button and the little bell next to it, and then you like this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love making these videos. I love fixing these bikes. I love interacting with you all, and maybe we'll create a community. Maybe we won't. Hope we do. See you next time.